Hello everyone, welcome to your weekly tech update, the show that explores the newest, coolest, and craziest side of tech available on the interwebs. I'm your hardcore geek, Ray McNeil. Coming up on the program today, we're talking a Bali resort. They have banned smartphones from the poolside to enforce relaxation. Brain implants let paralyzed people use tablets to send text messages and even stream music. And happening in this week's What The? A driver is accused of using a device straight out of the 007 movies. That and a whole lot more coming up on your weekly tech update next. Oh, we're getting closer and closer to that sci-fi future I've been dreaming of since I was a kid. Microsoft has won a $480 million contract to supply prototypes for augmented reality systems to the U.S. Army for use on combat missions and in training, the Army said. The contract, which could eventually lead to the military purchasing over 100,000 headsets, is intended to increase lethality by enhancing the ability to detect, decide, and engage before the enemy, according to a government description of the program. Augmented reality technology will provide troops with more and better information to make decisions. The new work extends the long-standing trusted relationship with the Department of Defense to this new area, a Microsoft spokesperson said in an emailed statement. The U.S. Army and the Israeli military have already used Microsoft HoloLens devices in training, but plans for live combat would be a significant step forward. HoloLens is one of the leading consumer-grade headsets, but a large consumer market doesn't yet exist because of, well, its price and the delay in it being released to the public. A video made for the European Patent Office this spring said it had sold about 50,000 devices. That's about half the number the Army expects to buy through this augmented reality program, which is called the Integrated Visual Augmentation System, or IVAS. With the contract, the Army immediately becomes one of Microsoft's most important HoloLens consumers. It expects devices to vary from their consumer-grade counterparts in a handful of key respects. In a document shared with companies bidding on the contract, the Army said it wanted to incorporate night vision and thermal sensing, measure vital signs like breathing and readiness, monitor for concussions, and offer hearing protection as well. It said the winning bidder would be expected to deliver 2,500 headsets within 2 years and exhibit the capacity for full-scale production. The contract went through a bidding process designed to encourage the Army to do business with companies who aren't traditional defense contractors. Magic Leap, which makes the main competitor to HoloLens for the consumer market, also pursued the contract. In early August, the Army held meetings with 25 companies interested in participating in some way, including Booz Allen, Hamilton Holding Corporation, Lockheed Martin, and Raytheon. The technology industry's cooperation with the U.S. military and law enforcement has become increasingly tense over the last year, with employees at companies like Alphabet's Google, and Amazon pushing back against government contracts. Earlier this year, hundreds of Microsoft workers signed a petition criticizing a contract with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement that Microsoft had originally said included some of its AI software. In October, a blog post purportedly written by Microsoft employees urged the company not to bid on a multi-billion-dollar U.S. military cloud contract. Many Microsoft employees don't believe that what they build should be used for waging war. Later that month, Microsoft's president and chief legal officer, Brad Smith, said the company would continue to sell software to the U.S. military. Smith wrote that employees with ethical qualms with projects would be allowed to move to other work within the company if they so choose. Artificial intelligence, augmented reality, and other technologies are raising new and profoundly important issues, including the ability of weapons to act autonomously. As Microsoft has discussed these issues with governments, they've appreciated that no military in the world wants to wake up to discover that machines have started a war. But Microsoft can't expect these new developments to be addressed wisely if the people in the tech sector who know the most about the technology withdraw from the conversation. Picture yourself going to an unfamiliar supermarket for the first time. If you're a person who can see, you can simply look around to guide yourself and identify objects and obstacles. However, blind people must use other senses to find their way through a new space. Soon, the blind might have some navigational help, thanks to Caltech researchers who have combined augmented reality hardware and computer vision algorithms to develop software that enables objects to talk. Worn as a portable headset, the technology translates the optical world into plain English audio. The device could one day be made available in banks, grocery stores, museums, and other locations to help blind people make their way through unfamiliar spaces. The team of scientists developed a system they call Kara, or the Cognitive Augmented Reality Assistant. Kara was developed for a wearable headset called HoloLens by Microsoft that can scan a user's environment and identify individual objects such as a laptop or a table. With Kara, each object in the environment is given a voice and will say its name upon the user's command. The technology utilizes so-called spatialized sound, which causes objects to sound different depending on their location within a room. If the object is, for example, far to the left of the user, its voice will sound like it is coming from the left. Additionally, the closer the object is, the higher the pitch of the voice is. To avoid an avalanche of objects speaking at once, the researchers programmed Kara with several different modes. In the first, called Spotlight mode, the object only says its name when the user is facing it directly. As the user turns their head to face various objects, the objects each say their name, and the pitch of the object's voice provides an auditory cue about its relative distance from the user. In this way, a vision-impaired user can look around to explore their environment. In a second mode, called Scan mode, the environment is scanned from left to right, with objects saying their names accordingly. The third mode is Target mode, where the user can select one of the objects to talk exclusively to and use that as a guide to navigate. To test Kara's practical applications, the researchers designed a test route for blind volunteers through the Beckman Behavioral Biology building at Caltech. To prepare the task, the scientists first developed a route through the building and followed it while wearing the HoloLens, which scanned the environment and saved it to memory. Then the blind volunteers were asked to navigate the same route using Kara as a guide. Led by Kara, all 7 of the volunteers completed the task successfully on their very first try. Kara is still in its early stages, but will benefit from the rapid development of algorithms for computer vision. The researchers are already implementing new schemes for real-life identification of objects and pedestrians. Eventually, they hope that places like banks, hotels, and shopping malls will offer Kara devices for use by their blind customers. In addition to their work with Kara, the team also developed a new standardized test to evaluate the performance of various assistive devices for the blind. The method provides a virtual reality environment that researchers anywhere in the world can use to benchmark their devices without having to reconstruct real physical spaces.